Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Simply Growing Food Podcast. I'm your host, Dylan. I'm flying solo today, for it is 5 in the morning when I'm recording this, and I'm just going to do a quick little review of what we've got going on. Our Loaves of Love donation, Turkey Day, that's coming up, pies, pig butcher, we got some pork back from the slaughterhouse, it's delicious. Our last batch of chickens, and we still have some carrots in the ground that I picked yesterday, some of them, and man, they are sweet. That's what's coming up on the SGF. Stay tuned. All right, and welcome back to the Simply Growing Food Podcast. As you heard in the intro, I'm just going to kind of do a little bit of a fall review, what we've been up to. A couple of new things we've got going on. Shout out to Chef Kim. Chef Kim, newest addition to the Daigle Farm crew. She has been diligently working on helping us expand our baked good offerings to all of our wonderful customers. I will say the scones are out of this world. Those are the only words that come to mind. I would say my favorite so far is probably the apple cinnamon. Maybe it's just the time of year. I don't know. But they're delicious. So keep up the good work, Chef Kim. Also, to touch on all of that, we're working on a sourdough. Chef Kim is working on sourdough, and man, it's good. It's good. She bought in a starter that's over 100 years old, out from San Francisco. Okay. The name of the bakery is escaping me. Apologize for that, but they're still in business. And, there's a lot. If you know about sourdough, there's a lot to it. I think once you get the starter going, you've got some good mother material, I guess people would call it. Then it's a little bit easier. But getting it going and being able to predict like how many loaves we can make each week, and, it's a whole thing. But thank you. This week, the week before Thanksgiving is when I'm recording this, the 23rd of November, we got our first round of sourdough out the door and into customers' hands, and we're waiting for the responses. We're waiting for some reviews. It was just yesterday, so we won't have anything right away. But I'm hoping over the next couple of days we'll hear from some folks, and maybe our orders next week will reflect it. Side note: if you're listening to this and I get it out on time, there's no deliveries the week of Thanksgiving. I used to do that. Used to deliver on Thanksgiving week. Now I just enjoy Thanksgiving and get ready for Small Business Saturday. That's coming up. Remember, that's the Saturday after Thanksgiving, after Black Friday, okay? Support local. I'm not saying you got to come see us, but we'd love to see you. If you can, get your Christmas gifts this year local. We're all about that. I make hats. You'll find them in the stand. They're just like knitted winter hats. Pretty warm. I like to use a thicker thread wool on that. Very nice. So check those out when you come into the stand. I'm going to try to have some ready for December 1st. That's the goal. And we also have some other local artists and crafters in the stand. We've got a photographer. An artist, charcoal artist, Jen Atwood. We got some of her art on the wall. Our neighbor Dawn has some awesome, like super groovy vests that have some really nice flowers embroidered on them. So we've got a couple of things. Come on out. We're also doing Daigle Farm gift cards. Small Business Saturday. Come see us. So moving on, I wanted to touch on all the stuff that we've had going on. We just don't have a lot of free time these days, which is why I'm doing this at 5 in the morning. I'm awake and there's no sunlight, so you adapt. So this past Monday, we processed our last batch of pasture-raised broilers, and let me tell you, it starts to feel really good when you have less to do. I'm sure people out there can relate to that. You know what I'm talking about. You start finishing projects, and then you're like looking for more stuff. But November, the end of November especially, is one of my favorite times because the pigs leave, the turkeys leave, the chicken leaves, and we get to enjoy it, finally. We raise these animals all year. The chicken we do once a month, but the turkeys and pigs, we raised them all year. And, it feels good to be able to get closure on the whole project of raising them. So, that sweet spot right after Thanksgiving to early December, it's beautiful. But we don't really slow down at the stand, and we certainly don't slow down on deliveries because now our freezers are full. So, thanks everybody for supporting us. We rely heavily on our winter cuts, our winter meats like the pig and the chicken to carry us through some of the tougher times of the season. But we do have a heated greenhouse, which there might be a podcast about the whole chimney debacle. Every year you got to replace a chimney on the thing, and that's my fault. I got to build a permanent block chimney. I'm just dragging my feet on yet another project. I'm sure we all can relate. We all got something. Just dragging your feet on. But anyway, I got to get that fixed sooner than later because it's getting cold at night, It's getting cold at night in the quiet corner. So I got to get the heat on. We do have that greenhouse planted for winter. We've got romaine, 2 varieties of turnips, some radish, carrot, arugula, which we are harvesting right now. Very nice stuff. Very nice stuff. The romaine's almost there. I could probably cut it. I just want it to get a little bit more mature before I start hacking it and we start losing more warm days and sunshine. It's a balance. It's a crazy madness balance, working with Mother Nature year round. It's almost crazy. No, it's definitely crazy. No, it's crazy. I'm crazy a little bit. I think you got to be in this industry, to be like, yeah, I guess I'll rely on the weather for an income. LOL. Well, we don't. That's why we do some staple crops like pigs, turkeys, chickens. We processed, it was like 190 chickens this past Monday. I'm going to give a little shout out to the crew that came out. Kyle, thank you for showing up at 4 in the morning. We don't ask everybody to show up at 4 in the morning, but that's when I get going on slaughter day. So Kyle is kind enough to be here at that time pretty much every batch, pretty much every batch. Should have him on the show, and maybe we will. So thanks, Kyle, for showing up. And my dad actually helped out. He was our middleman. So on our operation, we've got a catch and kill guy. Then we have a dunk and pluck station. And then it comes to me where it gets eviscerated and cleaned up and then, washed out and then put in the ice bath. So Kyle's been our catch and kill guy. And some days he's catch and kill, dunk and pluck. And he keeps right up. I mean, even sometimes I get chickens, waiting for me to be, eviscerated. And by eviscerated, I mean cleaned up and ready for packaging. So I take the insides out and get rid of the guts and such, cut the feet off, get rid of the neck, clean up any marks on the bird if there are any, just make it picture perfect or as picture perfect as we can before it gets the ice bath. So. And it's always hard to find reliable people for this day. And I get it. It's gross. It's a dirty job. You got to just be mindless about it a little bit. Just know what you're doing is worth it. And we've had a great amount of volunteers that have come out this season to learn about it, give us their time in exchange for knowledge, and of course a chicken or two at the end of the process. We like to send people home with some fresh chicken. Don't just help us process it for our freezers, take some for yours, because you got to know how good it is, right? And we appreciate the help. So anyway, this past week we had Kyle. Okay, my dad was with us for a couple hours. He showed up like 4:30, I'd say, and then he became the middle guy there on dunk and pluck, which you got to have a skilled person on that. The water temperature is pivotal. I want the mic to pick up the pivotal. All right. If the water's not right, the rest of the process does not work, okay? Maybe we'll do a whole episode on that. Someone did take a video of me explaining the whole process. So I don't know who did that. I don't remember which day we did that. But I know there's one out there. So if anybody hears this and has it, reach out. Anyway, yeah, so we had him for a couple hours. He had to ditch us around 6:45. Had a heated golf match that day. Even took some wounds from the field. Came home with a Band-Aid on his face. I was like, what the heck? Turns out, golf is a little bit more dangerous than one might think. And pricker bushes are menaces. All right, we won't talk about that. There's a little shot in the ego there. So anyway, he had to ditch us for a round of golf, and that's fine. That's what he should be doing. So then it kind of slowed down a little bit, but then Kyle took over the Dunkin' Pluck and was doing both stations, keeping up with me. Let's see. Then Cass comes down around 7 usually, 7:30, gets her station going. She is the rapper. She does all the rapping and facilitates that with the help. So this batch we had Caitlin. Caitlin, thanks for coming out. Caitlin V will say. I don't want to give out your last name, really. Is that you? Yeah. Anyway, and Caitlin, and who else came out? Of course, we had Chef Kim. Chef Kim was very helpful. She was doing the breakdown of the cuts while I was still eviscerating, and they got started packaging all sorts of stuff. So, it takes us all day, It's a labor of love. It's just labor, really. We just, we love the idea that we're able to do it and not have to rely on the USDA facility in Rhode Island because they're the only game in town and their prices are outrageous. And anybody that grows chicken knows that if you go there, you're paying an arm and a leg. And as a farmer, there's no discount. There's no quantity discount. We made this conscious decision last year to bring the processing in-house because under the Connecticut state law, we are allowed to do that because we do not sell to other, we don't wholesale our chicken to someone who's going to resell it, and we don't take it to farmers markets because it doesn't belong there. It just doesn't belong there. Plus, for those of you who don't know, if I was a part of a farmer's market and I still process my own chicken, I still can't sell it at the farmer's market. Okay? It has to be government taxed. That's all it is. What's crazy is I could sell it from my farm, but as soon as I take it to a parking lot somewhere in town, put up a canopy over it, it's no good. You know what I mean? Just one of the many reasons we don't partake. And there's a lot of stuff, but I digress. So, this is our last Butcher Day. We had Caitlin for packaging, Chef Kim, Cass, Kyle, my father, and myself. And I don't think I'm forgetting anybody. No, that was everybody. We kind of had a slim crew. Last batch, we had a couple more people. The batch before that, we had like 9, 10 people that came out, all of which just wanted to learn about the process so they could then take that knowledge and go do it themselves. And that's great. It does slow us down to educate. We do, pretty much everybody that day did every station from killing to Dunkin' Pluck to evisceration and packaging. So that was actually a really fun day, and we want to have more days like that. So if you're interested in signing up as a volunteer to help us on Chicken Day next year, there's going to probably be 2 a month, not 1 a month, because we're trying to double our production. Also looking for pasture land to lease. If anybody out there knows of some, please let us know. Yeah, we're looking for about 4 acres. They're all going to be pasture chicken tractors. So there's no free ranging going on, but they're on new pasture every day. So if you know of anybody that's looking to lease out some flat, local to Brooklyn, Connecticut, farmland, let us know because we're trying to grow. And we're maxed out here. We're out of pasture. I'm like moving chicken pens down roadways that are grassy, okay? We're out of pasture. Anyway, so this last batch we did just shy of 200, and we limited our flock share for November to only 44 birds because we wanted to fill our freezers. So we achieved that goal, and happy to do it. This is the first year we're going to be going into winter with a substantial amount of chicken. I know it's going to be gone sooner than later, but that's the point, and we're going to be able to save some for ourselves because in the past, if you've heard us before in person talk about our chicken, we never have enough for ourselves, which is a great problem to have, but also it's so good I want some too, hey? Okay? But anyway, yeah, our last batch, all in the freezer. Thank you, everybody that came out to help us that day. And thanks for the customers that supported us for the flock share all season. I mean, if not for you, we'd be in a different place, at the farm and with our growth. So the flock share program is a proven, tried and true method. We borrowed it from Joel Salatin of Polyface Farm in Virginia. Shout out to Joel. I love your books. And the book you wrote called Pasture Poultry Profits, or I might be butchering that, Pasture Poultry Profits, something like that, or Pastured Poultry Profits. Yeah, okay. Anyway, the anecdotal stories and everything you put in there are amazing, and I've run into so many things that you talk about, so thanks for writing such a good book. It's helped us a lot. And for anybody that wanted to start this process of raising your own backyard chickens just for your own family, doing 50 at a clip is nothing. I did that growing up with my dad. We would raise 50 a year, and that was it, and then we just stuff them in the freezer and have a chicken a week for a year. So there's ways to do it. It's very simple. So if you have any questions about it, please reach out. I want to help anybody get into the backyard pasture poultry. If you've got space, don't grow a lawn. Grow your family's food. It just makes more sense. So yeah, makes more sense. Anyway, we are already taking orders for our 2025 flock share flocks. So if you are interested in how the program works, do not hesitate. Reach out. We'll explain it. We got a little informational flyer we could send you. And it's a great way to make sure that you have food, like fresh local food, and it's affordable. I mean, if you buy 10 or more chickens, you're only going to pay $15 a whole bird. That's it. That's it. They're going to range anywhere between 3 to sometimes 6 pounds. That's our guaranteed window. 3 to 6 pound chicken, $15. Come on. Fresh off the farm. Sign up. Anyway, moving along, we've got 6 pigs left. That's it. And they leave on Monday. This is coming up Monday. I think that's the 24th, 25th. Let me see. That's the 25th. And we're looking forward to that because I really want to shut off my water lines. Those of you who are local know that we've been having some frosty nights. And because of those frosty nights, half of my pig waterer broke. So luckily I caught it in time, so there was no massive flooding or well issues or anything like that. But using white PVC and exposed to the temperatures we've been having, it just doesn't work. The water, the PVC, recipe for disaster. I had to fix that thing anyway, so I guess the pigs kind of did me a favor. So they broke it in half. I capped it where it broke. I still have waterers out there. The waterer I built was a little bit overkill, I was told this year. It had like 6 different fountains on it for 21 hogs, which to me sounds like not enough. But I had a few pig farmers look at it and they're like, you really need two of these things for this whole whole batch. But overkill. And it had a leak all season. And every time I talked to my dad, either on the phone or in person, he said, hey, did you fix that leak on the pig pen? And I wouldn't do it because I believe that as soon as I touch it, we're going to have problems. Okay? This is just the way I operate with some things. Especially when we were going away and we had some things, we were leaving for a few days at certain times of the year, and I felt like if I messed with the waterer, there was going to be a problem. So I didn't touch it, and it just had this like little drip all year. And lo and behold, after some of the pigs left, it broke, But it was after some of the pigs left, so kind of good timing. But it's because I'll be home, I won't be traveling. Not the point. Point is, I probably should have just fixed it. Now I'm going to build it stronger because I have to rebuild it anyway. But I digress. So the pigs we dropped off in October at the USDA facility, which, if you know me, you know I'd rather not take it to a government-inspected place because it costs triple the price for the same product. And sometimes, actually every time I've dealt with a USDA facility, there's been issues. There's been misunderstanding on the cut sheet or, we don't do that, which is like a very standard thing. And I'll get into that maybe on an episode. Just, it's so crazy. Because you take it to a local guy and there's 0 issues. Like straight up 0 problems. You drop it off at a place that is twice the, actually not even twice the size, 10 times the size, and inspected by the government, and there's issues. And it's like, you guys have a huge staff of people. I don't understand how simple things get missed. It's really kind of crazy. So, and the local guy that we use is closing, which is really great. Really great. That's sarcasm. That's sarcasm. Because it sucks. Because we need him. We need a local butcher that, like, does good work. And I know there's a couple, so I'm not saying names. I know there's a couple, but I haven't used them. And they're also, getting up there in age. So I hope that we can find a way to, mitigate this issue. But I don't know. We need a slaughterhouse to open. Maybe we got to open one. Who knows? But that pork just came back. Luckily, minimal issues this time. Minimal issues. Our conversion rate was like 65%, which I guess is okay, and that's like live weight to live weight to hanging weight. Was like a 65% conversion. I would have been happier with a 75 to 80 because it's like the standard, but whatever. They went a little bit early, so that some of them were kind of small, not that small, but smaller. And so that costs us quite dearly to take them out to those places and to sell them. But with the Prime Act that passed last March of 2023, it says that, and this is on a federal level, that local farms like myself can take their animal to a local butcher like we do, who's not USDA inspected, okay? And we can then sell the cuts that gentleman or whoever cuts for us. So in the past, farmers would get around these laws by selling an animal, like half an animal, whole animal, and that's how you get around it. And then you kind of like sprinkle in the wrapping as like a nice dressing to the customer, like I'll do this as part of the deal kind of thing. So that's kind of how people have had to do it now in the past. So now, if that slaughterhouse is inspected by the health department, which, as far as I know, both of the local ones I know of are, then you can take your animal there as a farmer, have them cut it up, and you can sell those cuts within the state in which it was processed, okay? That is how the law is now written on a federal level. Now, this past spring, I called the Connecticut Department of Ag in regards to this new law, and, they didn't have anything. They literally told me that we don't have anything on the book for this, so it's kind of a gray area, but the state of Connecticut usually operates with how the feds operate when it comes to small-scale farming and things like that. So, in not so many words, they said whatever the federal guidelines are good with us. Okay? Now, they were supposed to keep me in the loop. I heard back from them a couple of times. There were still no updates months later, so I'm sure the state has not written anything about it. I could be wrong. Maybe I should reach out. But they told me it was gray area, and I'm going to go with, if it's good for Uncle Sam, it's probably good for, the local legislation. Anyway, we didn't do that this year. We still used USDA place, but for those of you out there that do listen to the show and might also raise animals and didn't know about this federal change, it does kind of change the game for us. And we've been going to the same place my whole life, my dad's whole life. I mean, it's a fourth generation butcher house on a farm, and it's closing. So, we've never had an issue with the meat. We've never gotten sick from our own meat. I mean, that's never happened. I'm going to knock on wood. Hopefully you can hear that, but that's just my own superstition. Not that I needed to, but anyway. So we got our pork back, and we're happy to have it. Thank God. We went with a natural cure on the bacon. Here's another little tidbit of misinformation for those of you out there who buy nitrate-free bacon. It's not really. And they actually had to change the labeling from nitrate-free to natural cure. So the thing is, before, when you would get a conventional cure, okay, it's really about the brine that they inject into the meat you're smoking. The brine usually consists of a synthetic form of nitrates and nitrites, basically salt-ish, all right? It's it's so convoluted. So they were synthetic nitrates and nitrites. Okay, that's conventional cure. Now, when they used to say nitrate free, it was still injected with nitrites and nitrates, but they were organically sourced. So basically it was like celery salt that contained high amounts of nitrites and nitrates. So they would use that in lieu of a synthetic salt composition, whatever you want to call it, solution, brine, etc., etc. So I learned this last year because we didn't do nitrate free last year, and we had so many people ask about it. So I did some research on it, and the data on a lot of things is still inconclusive too. If nitrates and nitrites are actually bad, there's research that says they're actually good for you. But I'm going to go ahead and say anything synthetically created is not great. Go with the celery salt. So anyway, this year we went with nitrate free and or now it's labeled differently, natural curing on our bacon. Didn't do any ham. Nobody buys ham. It's a whole thing. Unless it is doused with brown sugar and cut like a spiral ham, nobody really buys it. It's a heck of a thing. And I don't eat a lot of ham. We don't eat a lot of ham. So we actually just turned that into sausage, and some of them were roasts and etc. So we went with the natural cure on the bacon. We haven't tried it yet, but they changed the name, the labeling on it, over the course of a year because it was, not true. It wasn't nitrate free. It was just organically formed nitrates injected into this cut of meat instead of a synthetically blended form of nitrates injected into this cut of meat. It's crazy that it has to be this way, that it even is this way. But it is. So our bacon, I do believe, says uncured, which I guess also means naturally cured. So we're going to try it. Looks good. We had to pay a whole extra $1 per pound to have this done because I guess celery salt is mad expensive. I don't know. I didn't do any research on that, but crazy. So unfortunately, that we did have to pass down to the consumer. We had to go up because a whole buck a pound is kind of crazy to me. But anyway, I digress. We got that back, and we are maxed out on freezer space. Luckily, there's nothing else going in the freezers. And the remaining 6 pigs we have go on Monday. We're cutting up 7 pigs this Monday and Wednesday, 4 on Monday, 3 on Wednesday for local people that bought halves and wholes. And we're looking forward to seeing all those people too, because some of these folks only buy that. They only get a whole pig or half a pig, and we don't see them all year. They don't, they grow their own gardens and such, so they don't really come out to the stand. And I get it. You don't need the stuff we're growing. You're growing it yourself, which is great. It's what we want to see. So it's always great to catch up and see these people. And we're looking forward to getting them. Some of these people are new, and they have been chomping at the bit to get the pork back because, some of them paid back in April because that's kind of how we run it. And they're just like, hey, where's the pig? Because we were expecting October. That's normally what we do, but the local butcher had a little snafu on his dates and put me at the end of November. So here we are. But that's good. These folks are going to be paying less than $5 a pound, and that's fantastic. Last year it was like $5.11 a pound, something like that. This year I think folks are going to be paying like $4.75, $4.80 a pound. All said and done, that's paying us for the pig and us to wrap it, because we do charge a wrapping fee, and the butcher to process it. And everybody's getting paid at like making what they need to make. So that's pretty good. That's our goal. We always try to lower it if we can, but these guys, I had to hold on to them for a whole extra month. They're huge. They've been getting pumpkins and garden scraps as we clean up the garden and stuff. I mean, these guys are substantial, large pigs. A little bit of fat. They're not fatty animals. No. Anyway, so what's that? That's the update on the chicken. All in the freezer. Update on the pig. Almost all in the freezer. Turkeys we're processing on Tuesday. We only have 13. Sad day, sad year for turkey growing here on the farm. We've had predators. We've had just so many issues with turkeys this year. We're pulling our hair out, but we already have a solid plan for next year to do 50 to 60 turkeys, keep them super safe, and happy and healthy, and finally have a super awesome Thanksgiving. I mean, there's no money to be made on our Thanksgiving this year when it comes to the turkeys. Luckily, we also do holiday pies, and this year we doubled how many we got. I mean, people really liked them last year. We did chocolate cream, apple, and pecan. And they were all fantastic. We make the dough. The dough's homemade. It's not Pillsbury, all right? All right. It's fresh and real. But this year we did double the pies. So the pies are going to kind of help with the turkey loss and all that. And we have butternut squash, potatoes, onions. We're going to have some greens. We got carrots, of course, turnips. We actually have good Thanksgiving crops for people this year. We also didn't have that last year. So we kind of really focus a little heavier this year on the veggies for the holiday, and we'll be happy to provide that, and the pies, of course. And other baked goods. We also did scones for the holiday, dinner rolls, and loaves of bread. Nobody got dinner rolls, which I understand the apprehension, but it's a great recipe that Chef Kim has. And they're good, But it's too late to order. It's too late. Orders are closed. We're making them all this weekend. All the pies, anyway. And, yeah. Anyway, so that's another thing that's new on the farm. Well, I started with that. But we got all these veggie crops this late in the game still. I've got 3 rows of beautiful 6 to 10 inch long carrots out in the market garden still that are thriving in this cold weather. We just had like an inch of rain, and then I picked carrots the day after we had all that rain, and they look so good. They're so sweet. They got a great crunch to them. You'll love them for your holiday, trust me. I'm going to eat them. I'm going to have them on my holiday. My meal's going to come all from the farm, and that's our biggest goal, I think, going into 2025, is to really focus on just eating everything that we eat. Make it count. Make it count, because we're growing it, so that's what we're going to do. I joke with Cass all the time. I'm like, we should do a challenge, like a local eats challenge, and you only can eat stuff for like 30 days, stuff that you knew the person that grew it or made it. So if, dairy or whatever, you go to a local dairy, or you get your cheese there. Bread, we make bread, so that helps. We make a lot of the food. That's our whole goal too, is to be able to provide a little bit of every group of food that people eat on a regular basis. That's why we have the Daigle Farm Essentials box from time to time. And that comes with a loaf of bread, a dozen eggs, a gallon of milk, and a couple cuts of meat. You're going to be seeing that on the menu as early as next week, because now we have all this pork and chicken. So it's going to be a good winter for us. Like I said, the heated greenhouse is planted. Our freezers are full, thank God. And almost done with the high stress. We have exactly the amount of turkeys we need. We have exactly the amount of turkeys we need. Do you know what kind of stress that is? No, you don't, unless you raise them for people's holiday. Okay? I love that we are able to be a part of people's holiday, but when it gets this down to the wire, it's tough to sleep sometimes. So my stress will continue until Tuesday, that is Butcher Day and Pie Day. And once that happens, basically, we're a little bit more smooth sailing. And that's all we can ask for, is some smooth sailing as we go into winter. December's kind of meh for us as far as the stand goes. We didn't do any wreaths this year. Normally we'll make holiday wreaths. We'll do pre-orders on them. Last year we did 56 wreaths. And I got to tell you, it almost killed us. And that was the first year we didn't sell every single one of them. I think we ended up with like 6 or 7 that we put all over the farm, which was cool. But the point is to sell as many as we can. And Years prior, we could, and I think that given the state of the economy as it was, people just didn't have that frivolous money, or didn't want to spend it frivolously, I should say. Same with this year when it came to like mums and stuff. You saw a lot of nurseries sitting on these products. I know some mum growers that lost their crop, just didn't sell. So crazy stuff. I mean, that's all based around, the political world, the economic world. It's very interesting. But these kinds of crops are affected. Some like mums. Nobody needs mums. You know what I'm saying? Nobody needs to have chrysanthemums on their porch. So as soon as like that changes, Anyway. So far, winter's looking good. We've got some new plans. We're hoping to maybe expand our ready-made meals side of the business, going right from farm to plate, basically. Field to plate, however you want to call it. I know there's so many like catch lines. But and being able to do it here on the farm, which is our goal. You can come out here, like have a meal. That'd be great. And it's like from here. Amongst some other things that we have in the works for 2025. Okay. We are going to be releasing something called the Permaculture Package. And it'll be 2 different levels. Okay. So basically the Permaculture Package is you get pork, chicken, beef, and turkey, depending on if you go with the gold package or the silver package. The gold package, I'm just going to do a quick little sales pitch. If you don't want to hear it, skip through this to the end, because I think I'll probably close with it. But the permaculture package we're thinking about putting together is going to be like this. Gold level comes with a whole pig, 50 broiler chickens, okay, ready to go in the freezer, and you don't have to pick them all up at the same time. So whole pig, 50 broiler chickens, and I think we're going to do like 30 pounds of beef, something like that. Maybe it was 50 pounds of beef. I don't think it was 50. I can't remember the math on. Oh, I think it was 25 pounds. Yeah, 25 pounds of beef, and then a whole turkey for Thanksgiving. Okay, and then the silver package will basically be half of all that without the turkey. So half a pig, 25 broiler chickens. It'll still be, I think, 25 pounds of beef, but you just won't get the turkey, and half the chicken and half the pork. So that is something we look forward to, because a lot of people seem to be wanting to like lock up their meat, and I get it, and by lock it up, I mean like pre-order, guarantee to get it and know that it's coming from a local source and it's fresh, and that's what we specialize in. So the Daigle Farm Permaculture Package, silver and gold, will be coming out soon. I probably should get it on the menu. Put it at the bottom. Nobody reads the 4th page. Very few people read the 4th page. If you read the 4th page of my menu, let me know, okay? Because that's where all the events and the cool stuff that's going on are posted, Also thinking about maybe expanding the menu, because we have such a reach. We have over 500 people that get it every week, roughly. To maybe including like an ads page for other local artisans that we deal with, maybe some coupons in there for those businesses. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But that is the update here. It's November 23rd, 2024. Everything is looking good. And like I said, we've got turnips, carrots, potatoes, onions, butternut squash, greens, radishes, microgreens, all sorts of stuff. Oh, and we're also selling some local chestnuts, which are dynamite. They're not the Asian chestnut. These are American white chestnut trees, and they are delicious. But yes, so this will probably come out right before Thanksgiving. I don't think we'll have another one before Thanksgiving, but who knows? So if not, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We hope that you enjoy the holiday and have some awesome time with people you love. And you get to have some fresh local eats on the table, because that brings everyone together. That's going to do it for this episode of the Simply Growing Food Podcast. Bye-bye.